My recipe for Oreo pie is easy and delicious. This no-bake pie made with cream cheese and Cool Whip is one of the best desserts for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or since it's so cool and refreshing, a hot summer day. Although you could definitely use a store-bought crust, as always, I am going to use a homemade pie crust. I already have a video on my channel showing you how to make a homemade Oreo pie crust, but in short, I started off with one 14.3 ounce package of Oreos. I used 2/3 of the package. I took the Oreos, I crushed them, I mixed them with 1 stick of butter, then I pressed the cookie crumbs into a 9-inch pie plate, and then I put that into the refrigerator for a couple of hours. Now that the crust is ready, it's time for me to show you how to make an Oreo pie. Like I said, this pie recipe includes some cream cheese. So here I have one 8-ounce block of softened cream cheese, one 8-ounce container of Cool Whip. I have the rest of the Oreo cookies from the package, a little over 5 ounces, about 150 grams. I'm going to add some of the crushed Oreos to the filling. I may or may not use all of them because I'm probably going to use some to garnish the finished pie, so we'll see. I'm also going to add 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, or 90 grams, to sweeten it up. The first step in this recipe for Oreo pie is creaming the cream cheese and powdered sugar. Just like when making cream cheese frosting, it's a good idea to add the cream cheese a little bit at a time so that it doesn't fly up in your face and cover you with a cloud of powdered sugar. So I will probably add this in, I'm guessing, 3 increments. So here I have my handheld mixer, and I'm just going to beat the cream cheese and the powdered sugar to combine. I just finished mixing together the cream cheese and the powdered sugar. Now I'm going to add some of the Oreo cookies. I'm just going to literally crush them in my hand and add them to the cream cheese. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure how many I'm going to use. I'll use half of these, and then actually now I'll add maybe 1/4, and then I will go from there, because as always, it is easier to add more later than to take away. And now it's time to add in the Cool Whip. And instead of mixing normally, I am going to fold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spatula, dig it down to the bottom of the bowl, and then bring it up to the top. So I'm going to fold from the bottom up, from the bottom up. Although I probably could just stir normally, when you are combining ingredients that have different densities and different textures, like the dense cream cheese and the light and airy Cool Whip, it's better to fold, because then that way you won't knock as much air out of the light and airy ingredient. Honestly, I probably could just stir normally and it would be okay, but I'm erring on the side of caution because I want this to be a little bit lighter. But like I said, learning how to make an Oreo pie is really easy, so even if you just mix normally, I think it would be fine. The filling for the Oreo pie is now mixed. I decided to add all of the Oreos because I wanted to have it nice and full of flavor. Now all I have to do is take the filling, put it into the pie crust, and then smooth it out. Now I'm just putting my finishing touches on the pie, using my spatula to smooth out the filling. Once I'm done, I will put it into the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours to firm up. As you saw, this pie was super easy and it came together in just a few minutes with only a few ingredients. Since it was so easy, I was really curious how it would turn out. And honestly, this recipe for Oreo pie turned out great. Even though there were only 3 ingredients in the filling, I was really surprised by just how flavorful it was. Even though there technically wasn't any cream in the filling, it was almost like I was eating a cookies and cream pie. Or like I was eating the pie version of Oreos and milk. Although you could definitely use a store-bought crust, I think that making my own crust is what really put this pie over the top. Because, let's be honest, a stick of butter will make anything and everything taste amazing. My only criticism of this pie is actually of my own doing. Although the no-bake Oreo pie crust was absolutely delicious, it was a bit hard to cut. Unfortunately, my homemade no-bake crust not only stuck to the pie plate, but also fell apart as I lifted slices out of the pie plate. So even though I did get pretty good slices out of this pie, they weren't as magazine picture perfect as my pie slices usually are. The same thing happened when I used a no-bake graham cracker crust, so honestly, I think it's just a characteristic of no-bake crust that you have to deal with. Although I was definitely pleased by how this no-bake recipe for Oreo pie turned out, you're actually seeing the second attempt. The first attempt was exactly the same, except that instead of adding powdered sugar, I added a packet of cookies and cream pudding. I thought that the pudding was going to be really good, but honestly, for some reason, it just dried out the filling. I'm not sure if you can tell from these pictures, but the filling of the first pie was really dry and chalky. I'm not sure how other instant pudding mixes would turn out, but just to err on the side of caution, stick to this recipe and use powdered sugar, not instant pudding, to sweeten the pie filling. However, even though the first pie didn't turn out quite as I would have liked, the second pie was delicious. Although I thought that it was good as it was, if you wanted to add a little bit extra, maybe you could add a teaspoon of vanilla extract or a pinch of salt. Although I thought about keeping the failed pie a secret, I think that sometimes when you're learning how to cook, it's just as important to learn what not to do as to learn what to do. Some things work out a lot better than you expect, but other things you think that they'll work perfectly fine and they turn out to be total disasters. Sometimes I feel like making a new recipe is a gamble, so if I can help people choose the better bets, that's what I'm here for. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.